Hey there, cyber pals. This is Tumblr user youngearthlikenhoist.tumblr.com, aka Brian. And today I'm going to read to you from Slavoj Zizek's Less Than Nothing, Hegel and the Shadow of Dialectical Materialism. This is by request of Tumblr user Ali, aka The Discreet Charm of the Proletariat, aka Tumblr Cutie Extraordinaire. So yeah, I'm gonna actually read a selection from chapter 9, Suture and Pure Difference. So yeah, let's get started.
More than 40 years ago, a short debate between Jacques-Alain Miller and Alain Badiou took place in the Cahiers pour l'analyse, a journal that stands for everything in French theory that resists being incorporated into deconstruction. The debate focused on the nature of suture. To Miller's seminal text Suture, Elements of the Logic of the Signifier, Badiou replied with the mark and the lack. Lurking in the background was the status of the subject, the relationship between the subject/lack and structure, and one can say that this was the key problem in the entire field of structuralism. Its founding gesture is to assert the differential or self-relational structure in its formal purity, purifying it of all pathological imaginary elements. Here is Lacan's classic formulation. It is the specific law of the symbolic chain which governs the psychoanalytic effects that are decisive for the subject, such as foreclosure, repression, denial itself, specifying with appropriate emphasis that these effects follow so faithfully the displacement of the signifier that the imaginary factors, despite their inertia, figure only as shadows and reflections in the process. The question is, after this purification, is there a subject to this structure? The predominant answer was a resounding no. Even the post-structuralist deconstruction, with its emphasis on gaps, ruptures, differences, and deferrals, etc., conceived of the subject as a culmination of the metaphysics of self-presence and its self-identity as something to be deconstructed, by way of demonstrating how its conditions of impossibility and its conditions of possibility, how the subject's identity is always deferred, and how to rely on the very process that undermines it. Derrida's early analyses of Husserl's phenomenology are exemplary here. The subject's self-presence and self-identity, whose supreme and founding case is the experience of s'entendre parler, of hearing or understanding oneself talking, is always already undermined by the process of writing, which stands for the deferral of self-identity, for the dead letter in the very heart of the living spirit. Although deconstruction endlessly insists on the gap, suture, deferral, lack, failure, etc., it conceives of the subject as an agent and a result of the obfuscation of this lack. So, what were the positions taken up in the struggle? The ultimate reason for the breathtaking resonance of Miller's suture is that by systematizing Lacan's dispersed statements, let's not forget that Lacan uses the term only once, and then in a verbal form, Miller, for the first time, proposed and elaborated the concept of a subject which belongs to the very abstract, purely differential notion of the structure. In a fierce and rigorous opposition to the notion of a subjectivized structure, Badiou insisted on the anonymous or asubjective structure. Structures renders this knowledge of the real. There is no lack in it. So the concept of subject could be strictly limited to the level of the imaginary recognition. It is the way we illusory live or experience anonymous structural causality.
All right, so that's about it.